Greetings, viewers and judges of the Penn State Graduate Exhibition. My name is Kevin Cedeño-Pacheco, and I am a dual-title PhD candidate in Philosophy and African American Studies here at Penn State University. In my dissertation project, situating the ethics, political philosophy, and aesthetics of Anna Julia Cooper, I use Black feminist and womanist resources to provide a much-needed reevaluation of the integral, if often neglected, role that Cooper played in the development of African American political philosophy, aesthetics, and cultural criticism at the turn of the 20th century. In 1892, Cooper published her most widely known and studied work, A Voice from the South, a collection of speeches and writings that is frequently recognized as one of the first book-length analyses of Black women's unique oppression, standpoint, and experience. In it, Cooper not only identifies and condemns the economic and material inequalities that specifically burden Black women, but also calls for the psychic and cultural emancipation of Black people from the systems of stereotypes and cultural norms that serve as ideological primers for white supremacist ways of ordering society. While work on voice has grown over the past 3 decades, since Mary Helen Washington, Karen Baker Fletcher, and other Black feminists and womanist scholars published their pioneering studies on her thought and activism, Cooper's decades of work on media, art, and the cultural components of racist domination have largely gone unexamined in scholarship on her work and the historical period. In this project, I provide a historical and philosophical analysis of Cooper's political philosophy and aesthetics as they are found in her speeches, writings, and community art projects. To do this, I first survey Cooper's aesthetics and political philosophy as she formulates them in her published and printed works. In addition to examining Cooper's most well-known works from Voice, I include the largely forgotten reviews of art, literature, and poetry that she wrote for the Washington Tribune throughout the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, and preserved in her personal scrapbooks. These latter materials are significant, in part due to how they reflect Cooper's attempts to independently disseminate her work at a time when she was being excluded from publishing circles by her male contemporaries. In absence of a more formal work on the subject, it is these writings that we must consult to reconstruct Cooper's philosophy of art, race, and stereotype. In the second part of the dissertation, I provide a historical account of the moral, political, and theological education that Cooper received while she was a student at Oberlin College in the 1880s, just before she began delivering the speeches that would form the early chapters of Voice. Although it has long been known that Cooper attended Oberlin shortly before she began her career as a public speaker and advocate, very little has been written about the effect that her coursework in moral philosophy, international law, political economy, and world history had on her understanding of racial inequality, sexism, and global politics. In this part of the dissertation, I recount the ways that Cooper's critical interpretations of ideas encountered in her coursework led to her later developments and insights in moral and political philosophy. In conclusion, I review some of the ways that Cooper sought to practice or enact her political philosophy through her community art activism, which included co-organizing an art and music club with fellow poet and abolitionist Charlotte Fortin Grimke, and presenting classical and original plays as director of the Washington Dramatic Club and the Dunbar High School Latin Club. By reflecting on Cooper's political theory, aesthetics, and art activism, the hope or aspiration of the project is that we can better ascertain the unique role that she and other working-class Black women have contributed to the formation of Black political culture, philosophy, and art history. The work for this project would not have been possible without the valuable contributions of Black women scholars who have worked against the tides of historic injustice to recuperate and revitalize the work of working-class Black women like Cooper. Specifically, I'd like to thank first and foremost my dissertation advisors, Catherine Sophia Bell and Shirley Moody Turner, without whom I would not have been able to access the scrapbook materials and other archival ephemera that served as the springboard and foundation for this study. Likewise, I'd like to thank Oberlin College and the Oberlin College Library for the generous research grant and support that they provided me to travel there and conduct research on Cooper's coursework and social life as a student. I am grateful for the assistance of Ken Grossi and Louisa Hoffman, the archivist and archival assistant there, without which I would not have been able to access the unique materials that served as the basis for the second part of the project. Thank you.